Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, normally joined by Jeff Torrey, but we're into episode number 3 of Jeff Torrey is missing. We have tonight's, we'll have tomorrow's without Jeff, and then Jeff will be back for the recap as we recap Thursday Night Football, which this week is going to be Jets Broncos, which, maybe he doesn't want to come back for that one. It doesn't seem terribly interesting, but tonight I'm going to go over a little ranks here for week 4. Probably I'm going to talk about some of these players and their current ranks, and also for the season. And is this for real with them? Could be good, could be bad. I'll go position by position with that. Before we do that, make sure you guys go check us out on Instagram at Fantasy Football Prophet. The website's fantasyfootballprophet.com, youtube.com/fantasyfootballprophet. Check us out, all of those different places. So I'm going to jump into the ranks real quick. Nothing too crazy. I'm just going to go over, kind of where I'm looking. This is an early look, obviously, to being only recording this thing on Tuesday night. This thing will definitely change. And I guess we should talk about the top of this thing is the big news of the day was the Tennessee Titans having 3 players and 5 personnel, staff members that came down testing positive for COVID. So they're shut down until Saturday at this point. No practice for the week for Tennessee. As of now, the league still plans on having the Steelers and the Titans play. We'll see. I guess that all depends, too, on if there are more positive cases, if we get more results like that. And then also the Vikings are now having to shut down as well while they get word of results. They just played the Titans last week. I don't know really, no. There's nothing at least we have to prepare for today on this. Luckily, we should have time, unless your options for, I guess that is the beauty maybe of having the Jets Broncos Thursday night. Your options for replacing players from Tennessee or Pittsburgh aren't really coming in that game, honestly. You don't really have a decision to make till Sunday, so you'll know well in advance if the players are going to be in. So, if Roethlisberger, obviously, and Juju, and James Conner, and Derrick Henry, and, those kind of guys. You'll have time to make that decision. So tonight, really don't have as much news. We'll see tomorrow night's episode what kind of things come out. But it seems like the league is trending towards or leaning towards having them play. So, all right. So they're still in my ranks. I'm going to rank them right now as they're playing. So except maybe the Titans players should drop slightly just because of the uncertainty of not practicing. The Steelers at least are going to get to practice this week. So rankings-wise, quarterbacks, Russ is number 1. Russell Wilson. We love Russell Wilson. Always have. And he's really putting it together this year. Playing against Miami. Should be a decent matchup for us. So Russ. Dak's number 2. Good matchup for him. Lamar. You know what? I'm going to put Lamar 3. I know he's struggled a bit here. Not Lamar-like. But he's still good enough. And with the Washington matchup should be up there. Kyler's my 4. Josh Allen's 5. Which some people might even consider low at this point. But he's there. And right now, okay, as of today, Patrick Mahomes is 6 because going against New England's tough. But the way what he just did to Baltimore, I get it. Maybe I should be just ranking him up there and just not worry about that matchup at all with Mahomes. And it's probably right. I probably should just move him up, and I'll probably relook at that. Mahomes is just so good against Baltimore. He's such a good player. I don't even know. Sometimes still these matchups maybe just don't matter to a player like Mahomes. So that he probably should jump up my list maybe slightly here. Cam Newton. Deshaun Watson, I put at 8. I think we might see slight bounce back. Minnesota hasn't been good, so hopefully Watson can come in and play well. Aaron Rodgers and then Matt Ryan round out that top 10. So when we're looking at quarterbacks here, I wanted to look at some of these guys through 3 weeks and what's for real, what's for not for real here. Russell Wilson so far is the number 1 quarterback. And is that for real? I think it is. I believe it is. Russell Wilson is an amazing quarterback. He always has been, and finally they're opening up the offense for him. And he has the receivers. He has Lockett and he has DK. He can throw this thing around. So I for sure think he's for real. I think this top 5, top 6, really these guys I'm confident in. Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, he's shown me a lot in these 3 games. He's a better actual real life quarterback than I believe. First game I thought he was screwing up, didn't look good. He still put up fantasy numbers, but these last 2 games have been great for him. Mahomes is 3 right now, which is actually surprising. He's only 3. He's obviously great. Dak, Dallas offense is good, and they don't have a good defense. They're going to be a lot of shootouts. And then Kyler's 5 so far this year. And, I've seen the nice step up from Kyler, so I think that's for real as well. Some of the guys, let's see, Lamar Jackson sitting at 12 and Deshaun Watson at 17. Do I think that's truly where these guys are going to fall? No, I don't believe. Lamar especially is going to jump up more. Deshaun, the loss of DeAndre Hopkins is just, it's major. It really is. And I think he still should be more borderline top 10 than he should be 17. So I think you're going to see some correction there on Deshaun Watson and move him back up. But there's really not a lot out of line from what I'm seeing right now. Jared Goff is in the top 10, but he had been before last year too. And I think it's just the offense is better. The team's a little better. I think it's a good spot for him. And then Joe Burrow, 10th right now after 3 games. So they have to throw the ball a lot. Cincinnati, they're just not a great team, so they got to throw the ball a lot. Joe Mixon isn't getting it done on the ground. So Burrow's going to put up some fantasy numbers. It might not always look pretty, but I think you have I wouldn't trust playing Joe Burrow. I'll say that, especially in just a standard 10-12 team league with one quarterback. I can't feel comfortable with it, but it's good to see the rookie up there. Running backs. Let's go over to some week 4 ranks for running backs. So as of right now, I actually have Alvin Kamara, number 1 for the week, playing against Detroit. He was terrific on Sunday night. I don't see why that doesn't continue. And number 2 is basically because he passes Zeke. Zeke wasn't getting it done on the ground. At least the Cowboys weren't letting him get it done on the ground. He still had a decent day, but no touchdowns there. So Zeke will be my 2 against Cleveland. I'm going to put Jonathan Taylor. Seems like a surprise, but I'm going to put Jonathan Taylor at 3 against Chicago. I think it's a good matchup. He's going to keep getting fed the ball, and I think we'll see a good performance from him. Dalvin Cook's going to be my number 4 going against Houston. Derrick Henry is still going to be 5 right now. He would, when I know for sure that game's on, maybe he'd go up, but not even that. It's just no practice. I mean, I don't know how much Henry needs, but just in general, the team needs that. But he'll still make my top 5. Aaron Jones, Miles Sanders, Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire round out my top 10. So when you look at running backs right now through 3 weeks, and what's for real again, what's not here. Obviously, with McCaffrey injuries, he's 9th, but that's what it is. Saquon. Alvin Kamara's number 1. I don't think that's surprising. This is all standard scoring right now. I'm just going off standard scoring. So even Alvin Kamara, number 1 standard scoring by a decent margin, 10 points over number 2. So I've always been a Kamara fan, and he's proven how good he is again. He's really bounced back from last year being kind of an off year. Aaron Jones, number 2. So I've been one of the biggest Aaron Jones fans for a few seasons now, and even I thought, even as an Aaron Jones fan, I thought there's no way he can keep up that kind of pace from last year. But you know what? He's doing it right now, and he's 2nd. And with the running backs out there and the injuries, if Aaron Jones stays healthy, why can't he be up here again? I think it's a great spot for him. Dalvin Cook, number 3. Yeah, really no surprise. I think it's a good one. Nick Chubb is number 4. I know you had a lot of Nick Chubb detractors because Kareem Hunt's going to take everything away. Kareem Hunt's actually playing well himself. He's 12th right now in standard scoring. But that Cleveland offense is just going to run the ball, and both of these guys are going to be very valuable. I didn't think it would quite play out like this. I did like Chubb, but this played out a lot better than I expected. Zeke's number 5 in standard. I mean, they just got to give him the ball more. He's a top 5 back. He's probably going to finish there, and this is even with a poor start for him. And then you get the biggest surprise, James Robinson, number 6. So is this for real? I can't. I'm not on board with it being for real yet. It seems very fluky. Jacksonville doesn't seem very good. I just can't see this continuing. I really don't. I know a lot of people are on board with Robinson now, but this seems a little much for me, and I'm just not there. I think maybe he's a top 20 back. I don't think he's a top 10, top 6 where he's at. I can't see that continuing. And then the others are Jacobs and Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, no surprises. Chris Carson now got the injury, so we'll see when he comes back. James Conner's 13th for the year, not bad. Edwards-Helaire, the rookie, 14th. Yeah, it's pretty solid. So some of the guys down the list a little bit. Todd Gurley's 21st, which is disappointing. I'd like to see more, but I think this is kind of what he is. Honestly, I don't really the big bounce back. The former form is not really happening, and I haven't seen anything to tell me it's going to either right now. So, and the fact is, I don't know if it's just not happening. I don't know. I wish it would. I really do. I'm been a big Gurley fan, and it sucks to see a player like his caliber fall off at honestly a young age. And he's not the same player he was a couple years ago. And it just doesn't seem like it's coming back. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it does, but it's just not there. Kenyon Drake, 24th in standard. This is, I know, a big disappointment for people. And you know what? I'm not like that surprised, to be honest. Like I've said in the preseason, offseason episodes, we've never seen Kenyon Drake put it together for a long stretch of time. And even when you looked at his numbers last year, it was concentrating on a couple games. He wasn't as good, I think, as the numbers really ended up looking. And the memory people had of how he finished the season really boosted him too much. So I think this could be where Kenyon Drake is. Maybe not 24, top 20, yeah, but this is more what you should, be looking at. Then players down the list like Devin Singletary, 32nd. That's a disappointment for me, for Jeff. I know we're just not happy with that one. He did get more work, obviously, with Zach Moss out. The problem is not even Zach Moss. It's Josh Allen that's running the ball. Josh Allen gets the goal line work. Singletary had a couple chances, and he couldn't put them in. So I don't blame Buffalo for going to Josh Allen on that because Josh Allen puts it in the end zone on the goal line. So that's going to be the downfall of Singletary. I think he's going to get enough yards on the year between, rushing and receiving, but the touchdowns are just not there, and that's a worry. Oh, and this is the biggest one for me. Joe Mixon, 38th so far in standard. And is this for real? No, it can't be, right? It just can't be. There's absolutely no way Joe Mixon can be this bad. Or, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he can be. I still think he's going to rebound at least to top 20, right? But he's much more talented than this. He has to bounce back from this. And it's disappointing to see where it's at right now. And then the line's not helping him, nothing, but it has to turn around. It's going to turn around. He's going to at least be a top 20 back. So we'll move over to wide receivers, look at some of the ranks for this week. So right as of today, DeAndre Hopkins is going to be, my number one, which with all the targets he's getting, I don't think this is any kind of surprise to people. He's been that good. Number two, I'm going to go Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley has been really good. Really, really, really good. And I'm going to put him number two. Allen Robinson, I'm actually going to put number three with Foles there. Tyreek, I think, is going to be my number 4 this week. Number 5, this is where I'm going to put DK Metcalf. I know people aren't maybe going to be as on board with that because of how Lockett's game, but DK is beating people deep. His day should have been massive if it wasn't for the just huge mental error he had in getting that ball knocked out. But he's beating people deep. It's just the perfect combination. Russell Wilson throws the best deep ball in the league. DK Metcalf has the size, the speed, everything you want in that guy to go deep. It's just the perfect combination. This is going to work all season. So DK is going to be there for me at 5. I'm going to go Amari Cooper, Adam Thielen. I'll go Mike Evans without Godwin probably again. Terry McLaurin. Tyler Lockett will be 10th for me. So when we look at the current through 3 weeks, who's up at the top here? Calvin Ridley, number 1. And is it for real? It sure seems to be. Ridley obviously was a first-round draft pick, 3 years. This is his 3rd season. It's like the perfect third-year wide receiver breakout thing. It's the perfect combination of it. Julio's injured, been injured, and even when he's there, he's just going to help the defense go away from Ridley. And the numbers are going to be there. I don't know maybe if he's going to finish number 1 on the year, but he's a top 5 receiver, I think, at this point. Tyler Lockett, number 2. I'm not quite there. I think the touchdowns obviously boosted him. He's good. He's been very good. He's a top 15 receiver, top 10 possibly with the way Seahawks are working. Maybe they can have 2 top 5s or top 10s. I think I'm still going to put him more, though I don't think this is going to continue at least number 2. DK, number 3. Again, I as much as I love DK, maybe I don't know if he's going to be a top 3. Yeah, I think he's going to be a top 10. I mean, he's that good to me too. Tyreek Hill's up there. DeAndre Hopkins is up there. Yeah, of course they should be. Stefan Diggs is the 6th right now through 3 games. I love to see that. And I think he's going to continue the way Josh Allen's playing. I don't see why Diggs can't continue to be a top 10 receiver. Allen Lazard at number 7, boosted by his week 3 game. This is not really for real. So he'll fall back down. Some of the other guys, Robbie Anderson's up at 12, but that's really just boosted by one big week. A decent other week, but Robbie Anderson is going to probably fall off a little bit from that. Some other guys, if we go down the list, like Amari Cooper at 25, with as much people to throw the ball to in Dallas, Amari Cooper might only be a top 20 type receiver this year. And so can't say I'm completely surprised. DJ Moore at 31 is a disappointment to me. And I want to say that it's not for real and there's a correction happening, which I think there will be to a point. But I was hoping that DJ Moore could be more of a top 10 receiver. I don't know if that's going to happen. Still can get back to about top 20. But Bridgewater's just not looking for him as much as I would have hoped. So DJ Moore down the list. Odell Beckham at 41. Man, it's just not happening, is it? And Cleveland's kind of turned into a running offense. So I think Odell can get himself a top 30 finish. But, I mean, it's disappointing to see somebody that talented that far down the list. And you just don't really have a lot of hope for it at this point. And I just don't. So I can't really – I mean, I wouldn't mind going trading for like Odell or trading for Joe Mixon because I feel at this point some of their owners somebody might just want to get out from underneath them, right? So tight ends, same old. Kelsey, Andrews, Ertz, they're my top three. I think I'll go Higbee and Waller, Henry, Jonnu Smith, Gesicki, Hawkinson. I'll go Hayden Hurst there. So through week 3, Jonnu Smith's the number one based on one big week. He's not going to be the number one for the year, but he's definitely, I think, a top 10 tight end. He has a good chance to finish up there, top 12 tight end. Kelsey's number 2. He's going to probably end up being the number 1 before this thing is all said and done. Higbee at 3. Higbee, boosted by one big game. He's had a couple or not as good of games there. I don't think he's going to finish up this high. I still think he's a top 12, 13 guy. Noah Fant up at number 4. Been a decent start for him. I can see him falling off a little bit from that. A lot of the other guys are guys that probably should be here. Gesicki at 5, I'm not shocked. Hawkinson, Hurst, Andrews should be a little higher, but that's just the Baltimore offense as a whole is not all put together right now, it feels like. But Andrews probably going to rebound a little bit. And Zach Ertz down at 16 is a very big disappointment, but now with Goddard out, I think Ertz is going to see a little bit more action here. Probably go back up more where he should be. He's going to at least be a top 10 tight end. He should be a top 5, but we'll see how that corrects itself. But all right, that will do it for today. Just talking a little ranks. So go check out the website, fantasyfootballprofit.com. That's where I'll have full rankings. You can see everything. Go to Instagram as well. We'll make some rankings posts there. But right now it's still early. They're going to be changing quite a bit, especially when we get more injury news. I mean, is Chris Godwin going to play? Julio Jones? There's all kinds of stuff like that, Got to see what's going to happen and what's going to happen in Tennessee, Pittsburgh. So that will do it for today. Tomorrow, we're going to have our mailbag show. So get us your questions. I'll answer all of them on tomorrow's episode. Talk to you guys then.